Greetings and welcome to Sanctuary. Today we'll be talking about the main defensive terms in the game. We will start with the most important one, damage reduction. First thing we need to understand is that damage reduction can greatly reduce the damage that you take, but it cannot make you immortal, even if you get to 100% or more. This is multiplicative effect and can never reduce the damage to zero. Let's illustrate this with an example. You are about to take 100 damage, but you have an active skill that gives you 40% damage reduction. Thus, after getting hit, you will not take 100 damage, but only 60 damage. However, let's also consider that you find a great gear that gives you further 60% damage reduction. Now, are you going to take 0 damage? Not really. This is what happens. You have two sources of damage reduction. One gives you 60%, the other 40%. In order to calculate the damage you will take, we need to evaluate both reductions one after the other. So we already reduced the damage from 160 because of the skill. Now we need to reduce the already reduced damage by another 60%, and we can calculate that the final damage we will take is 24. Let's go even further. We find another piece, or let's say we activate another skill with further 50% damage reduction. That is 150% damage reduction in total, and the amount of punishment we are going to get now, after we get hit, is only 12 instead of 100. If you're asking yourself if there is any difference whichever reduction is evaluated first, there isn't. Even if I mix the numbers, as you're currently seeing, the end result is the same, 100 to 12. However, you can never get immortal. And speaking of damage reduction, let's talk about armor. It actually reduces the damage you take, however it is much more effective when it comes to physical damage compared to elemental damage. If it is said that armor, for instance, reduces damage you take by 50%, these 50% are applicable only for the physical damage. For the elemental damage, that percentage is halved. And when I say elemental damage, I mean fire, poison, shadow, etc. Keep in mind that the higher your level is, the more points in armor you require to get the desired damage reduction increase. And another thing about armor, actually it scales with the item power. The more armor the item has, the more powerful it is. However, sometimes items with less power will be better than items with more power, so it is always worth to compare before swapping your current gear. Now let's talk about barrier. It is a straightforward concept. Barrier is a shield. First you lose it before you start losing life. Of course, you can lose it also to the simple fact that it can expire, because usually it is active only for a short period of time. Generally, if you have a barrier, your life globe is covered in blue, so you cannot really make a mistake there. And the last concept we will cover is Fortify. Unlike the common perception of it, Fortify isn't, and at the same time it is something like a shield. First thing first, you are fortified if your life is equal or less than the amount of Fortify you have. If this is the case, you automatically gain 10% damage reduction, and if you take damage, you take equal amount of life and fortified life. So if you have 100 life and 100 Fortify and you take 10 damage, you lose 5 life and 5 fortified life. And finally, how do you know that you are fortified? Just take a look at your life globe. If you're fortified, you will be seeing this weird shield surrounding your life globe. The moment you lose Fortify, the shield will disappear. Alright guys, those were the most important 4 defensive terms that I explained. I hope you found this video useful. If yes, consider subscribing to the channel as many more videos will follow. See you in Sanctuary.
Perfect.